For those of you who don't know, this is Donald Craig Sanchez and his daughter. Donald is somebody who, when I first came into the LA division, there were three representatives that were a part of the LA division team. So even though that Danny Garrido and Deanna Scortino and Dwayne Murdoch, they were in a process of being transferred back into the LA division, but because there was no LA division when we first came here, they were temporarily being adopted until they could come back into the LA division. So the only people that we had here were Brandon Brown, Rochelle DeYoung, who was the events team coordinator at that time, and Donald Craig Sanchez. And those were the people that we had. And so when I first came down here, Donald Craig had been with the company for about 3 years at that point. I've been there for about, started in 2013. So I came over and took over the LA division in 2016. And immediately I developed a great relationship with Donald, and we got a chance to really see him grow from somebody who was viewed as somebody who had a lot of leadership potential to someone who quickly became somebody who was realizing that leadership potential. So he very quickly was one of the top representatives in our office. He drove from Bakersfield every week to come to the team meeting. Right. And then he wanted to start moving into leadership. So he wanted to learn a little bit of the management side of things. So he became an assistant manager, and then later on became the division office manager, and would also come down and have a one-on-one meeting every week as well, where we would review his past week and make new plans for the next week and so on and so forth. Right. And ultimately he ended up becoming a district manager. He ran a district office in Bakersfield. That district office was the #1 in the nation. They won a silver cup as a district office up there in Bakersfield. And he continued to be a pillar of our division organization as a district manager in 2017, 2018, 2019. And then in 2020, he continued on as a district manager and then started making a pivot to be able to move into a Cutco sales professional position, which for Donald was the right fit for him and is the right fit for him now. He's quickly become one of our top Cutco sales professionals. You saw that he was #6 in the division right now. And so Donald is going to be teaching you guys about upselling and selling accessories, which is something he is very good at. So I would definitely pull out those pens and those papers and get ready to take some good notes as he comes up. My good friend, Donald Craig Sanchez.
What's going on, everybody? Sweet. Well, first off, Kevin, I just want to say thank you to you and the district manager team and for all that you guys do. As I pulled into the office and I was driving here, I was really reminiscing on that first year I started in 2016. I was a lazy college student. Full transparency. Most of my life I had been lazy. My kind of mantra was, what's the minimum I got to do to be able to play sports? That was like my whole thing. And so it was under Kevin's leadership that he was able to help me hone my skill sets, not only as a professional, but as a man and an adult in the real world. Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, no one's going to do it for you. Straight up. No one's going to accomplish your goals for you. No one's going to put in the work for you. And Kevin really helped me really realize that early on. And as you were going through your message, Kevin, talking about all the different stages and the different opportunities, I wasn't just reflecting on my opportunities. By the way, it was like sell, right? And I was like, oh, I didn't do it in 3 years. I did it in 4. It took me a little bit longer, but that's the exact process that I went through all the way to DM and then eventually CSP. But a handful of people were coming through my mind. One guy I wanted to talk about specifically, most of you district managers already know. His name is Jesse Arzate. He was one of the first people. I interviewed him my second week as a district manager. He was in my second training class. Interviewed him as a 17-year-old. And back in 2017, I'm not going to go into a full story on Jesse, but I'm sharing this with you, not to impress you, but simply impress upon you everything and really just echo everything Kevin just said about the vector opportunity. There is a reason why I'm going on 9 years with this company. And when I look at that rep, Jesse, who's become one of my good friends, Jesse graduated top of his class at CSUB. Long list of honors and accolades. But what I found most cool about Jesse is, and his experience with Vector, is he was able to graduate debt free. He not only was he able to graduate debt free, but his first job he secured 6 months before graduation with $150,000 salary as a military contractor, working on rockets for the Air Force. And he's going to be, his job is to train to lead teams that build rockets for the Air Force. He couldn't tell me anything other than that because of his security clearance. And he's currently training for that job right now because he just graduated a month ago. Graduation 2 months ago. And so, ladies and gentlemen, today, regardless where you're at in the business, new, second summer, a district manager, and whatever your goal is in the future, just know that what you put into this job now while you are here, it's going to pay tenfold as the years fly by in your life. And they really do fly by. I mean, so I'm going to pause on that because I actually want to get to my message. But yeah, so be present, take lots of notes. This is going to be semi-interactive. I'm going to teach you nothing that I made up on my own. Everything that I've learned has been taught and has been crafted over years and years and years. And I'm actually a little jealous of each and every one of you, like not even going to lie. The quality of the training that Vector has in terms of sales over the last 5 years has like increased dramatically and translated into massive amounts of Cutco being sold by college students. I mean, there's Kyle Lopes who sold $1 million while being a college student at Columbia University, which I hear is a pretty tough school to be at. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, my message today is on the process of upserving. Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit about what upserving is. Basically, it's helping your customers get more Cutco. Okay. The biggest thing when it comes to upserving is you got to start off with the mindset that Cutco truly is the best in class, hands down. There's not a single product better out there. And so it's so funny because I go demo after demo and I get told all the time, you're a great salesperson. And I kind of laugh inside because I tried to sell cars for 3 months and I sold 0 cars. I tried to sell tech. I sold 1 order for $100 to my best friend. And I basically just asked him to buy because I needed a sale. And so like truly, ladies and gentlemen, you do not have to be a sales wizard. You don't need to be an outgoing person. Anyone can sell Cutco. Straight up. Anyone can sell Cutco. If you can read, you can sell Cutco, right? Even if you struggle with reading, you could probably still sell Cutco. And that's just because you got to understand, like we truly represent the best in class. And who, just show of hands, by the way, show of hands, if you eat food. So at least sometimes you need knives, right? So you got to believe and you got to understand that everyone needs knives and you sell the world's best knives on the planet. So this will only work if you have that level of conviction. And if you don't, that's fine. Build that level of conviction. There's a reason why Cutco has been around for 75 years. It's American made. It's still family owned. We haven't changed a single thing in our manufacturing process. The product quality hasn't changed. We have the same guarantee. Like there's one guy that makes all the bread knives in our company for like the last 30 years. One guy makes all the bread knives and like the salmon knife and the carving knife and all that. If you ever get a chance to go to the factory, you'll meet him. He's super hilarious. He's a Marine and he wears his Marine shirt. So anyway, so that's what I want to start off with. I'm not really going to use the slides. So if I hit the button on accident, don't worry about it. I want to start off by telling you like one of the greatest, like who invented upselling, who invented upserving? Does anyone know? No, close, but no. McDonald's invented upselling. Okay. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Right. What do they say when, you go up to the drive-thru and you're like, can I get a cheeseburger? What do they say? Would you like some fries with that? Right. And it's so funny because whenever I go to like Del Taco or like Wendy's, very rarely does someone ask me if I want to buy something else. And I can always tell when that store has good leadership because they constantly ask me, do you want to do this? Do you want a drink? Do you want cinnamon twist? Do you want an empanada? Do you want an extra? I'm like, no, thank you. That's fine. Sometimes I say yes, though. That's the funny part because it works, right? And so literally upserving became a thing in our company because Josh Mueller, one of the number one reps who's, I don't know, like almost $10 million in sales, he used to work at Taco Bell and he was taught this process. And then on his demos, he's been working with Cutco for like 20 years. He's been able to create a formula that if it's so simple and if you use it on every single one of your demos, you will increase your sales results. This is how I sold a Cutco kitchen for $8,000 the last day of the year. I had no idea that this customer in East Bakersfield, of all places, if you don't know East Bakersfield, it's not the nicest part of town. I walked in there, she already owned a set of Cutco, told me she didn't want to buy anything. And I left with selling her a whole new, brand new set of ultimate set with steak knives, the full set of cookware, the full set of flatware, and a few extra gadgets and stuff on top of that. Okay, just by following this formula that I'm going to teach you guys today. So it's super simple. You're not going to need to like take a ton of notes. I will tell you exactly what to write, and you can write obviously whatever else you feel called to write. Okay, we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna teach you some cool stuff. But the first thing is you got to set a standard. Okay. And this concept is not only going to apply in upserving and upselling, this has got to apply in every area of your life, right? You fit guy, you got some biceps right there. I'm working on it. Right. It really comes down to standards. Like I worked out with Robbie Speaks. He's one of the other reps on our team. Dude is jacked. He looks like a short, like Captain America. He's got these giant muscles. And I worked out with him for the first time. And I've been lifting like the last 6 months for like the first time in my life. And he kicked my butt. And I'm like, oh, dude, I do these same exact workouts, but for some reason, I'm way more sore than I've ever been. He goes, well, because you did them right. You followed you did them right. You didn't do them the wrong way. You did them right. You didn't look like one of those guys. I'm like, oh gosh, did I look like that? Like there's a right way to do things. And so if you follow the standard of what I'm going to teach you today, you're not going to have to worry about sales. You're not going to have to worry about if the customer is going to buy more, because they will. Not always, but if there's an opportunity, you got to ask yourself, would Brandon have sold someone this? Would Brandon have sold him that upserve? Would Brandon have sold him that flatware? Because guess what? Brandon's human. That's it. There's nothing that he does that's superhuman. It may come off that way, but he's a master at this upserving process. Okay. So are you ready for that? So I'm going to teach you a couple of things you can write down. This is the outline right here. The outline is I'm going to teach you the 3 rules of upselling. So write that down, the 3 rules of upselling. I'm going to teach you about the timing of upselling. I'm going to teach you different offers that you can offer to your clients. We're going to go over key phrasing. And then if we have time at the end, I'll go over some bonus content for you. So let's dive in. Okay. 3 rules of upselling. Here's the thing. I want to reiterate this. Okay. You have to implement verbatim everything I teach you in the sales process. Because what if I told you, like, you can increase your income without working any harder, without working any more hours, without worrying without hoping if someone's going to buy? What if I told you you can confidently go into your demos knowing that not only customers are going to buy, but when they do, they're going to want to buy more, right? Dami, you and I have been talking about this, right? Like teaching you how to like, hey, this is how you set up your business, right? And like, what did you sell your last appointment? What'd you sell in the service call before that? And what'd you sell in like your first 5 service calls? I think it was 0, right? 0. Yeah, 0, right? And it's simple. Like, this is not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. It's knife science. It's so much simpler than that. Okay. So step 1, right? The 3 rules of upselling. Okay. So rule number 1, AO, write that down. Rule number 1 of upserving, AO. That stands for always offer. You always offer 100% of the time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't ask for the order, are they going to tell you yes or no? No, they won't even, like, if you don't ask for the order, they will not buy the order. They won't even tell you no, because you've never asked. So rule number 1 is you always ask for the order 100% of the time. I would rather have people tell me no and get a lot more yeses in the process than just have one random person say, well, you guys sell ice cream scoops? Yeah, I'll get one of those too. And just hope that someone does that. I cannot tell you, by the way, like, I love selling to like customers who already own Cutco, because especially if they have like a small set or like a homemaker, because when I see that, I'm like, oh, here we go, baby. Here we go. They got Cutco and they only have a homemaker, or they only have an ultimate set. Even better. Oh my gosh. Because guess what? They don't have flatware. They don't have cookware. They don't have the gadgets. Their kids, I don't know if they bought their kids gifts. So you got to understand the average value of a client. And for you business majors, this is something that you're going to really want to know. And any entrepreneur, you got to understand the value of your client. The value of a client is $15,000 in Cutco. $15,000. That's the value of a client in terms of how much CPO will this customer buy over a lifetime, regardless if it's from you or me or someone else. Okay. So when I walk into a customer's house, or I do a demo or a service call, or at the booth, or a virtual demo, whatever it is, and they have Cutco that they bought from their niece, their nephew, a neighbor, I'm like, they probably weren't as good as I am. Right. And it's not that it's a skill set. It's, I know the processes that work. So what's rule number 1? AO, always offer. Correct. Okay. So now, and by the way, guys, that's the hardest part of upserving, is actually getting yourself to do it. I cannot tell you, when I started studying upserving, like intentionally 6 months ago, I would write up an order and I'd be afraid to ask for more. That's the hardest part. If you can do that, the rest of this is cake. So that's rule number 1, always offer. Rule number 2, AOA. AOA. Rule number 2, AOA. Always offer again. Always offer again. See, here's the deal. If someone takes the first offer, right? So let's just say, Ella, you buy an ultimate set, and I upserve. I say, hey, Ella, just so you know, since you're already getting the ultimate set, you're getting a great deal on it. If you do this, if you add on the entertainer pack, I will give you an extra. Kevin, we got a dead computer, a dying computer. Why? If you, just so you know, since you're already in this ultimate set, if you add on the entertainer pack, I'll just buy you the can opener for free. Just so you know, if you do that, I can do this. Do you want to go and get that today? Yeah. Sweet, let's do it. Right. And if she says yes to that, guess what she just told me? She's willing to spend more money. That's it. So if someone takes the first offer that you offer them, they take the first upserve, you always ask them again, because they're more likely to say yes again, right? It's like, have you ever been shopping and you're like, all right, I'll get the jacket. You know what? Fine, I'll get the ties, like at Express, right? Love Express. And then they're like, well, we got a deal on socks. Oh, I need some socks. All right, let's do it. Right. And but we got these tie clasps, and I'm like, wait, hold on. All right, that's it. I'll take the tie class. Right. And no more. Right. And then you're done. So upserving is the same thing with Cutco. Okay. So step 1, always ask. Step 2, always ask again. Step 3, by the way, if they say no to the first offer, don't ask again. Like, don't just, you're going to sound salesy. So step number 3. Okay. OUTD. OUTD. Always offer until they're done. Always offer until they're done. Because here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know how much money they have. You don't know how much money they want to spend. They're already saying yes. They've already purchased a set. They're already said yes to an Upserve. You've asked again. They said yes for a second time. Why would you stop asking them if they want to buy stuff? Why would you do them a disservice and not offer them the flatware? Why would you not even ask them if they want to buy it? Because you are afraid they're going to say no. So you're telling me your feelings and your emotions are more important than their needs? I don't think so. So that's what, and this is the fun part. You always offer more until they say they're done. And here's how it typically goes, right? So Ella, homemaker or ultimate set, you just got the entertainer pack with the K-bar or the can opener. And hey, just out of curiosity, does your husband like hunt and fish and stuff like that? Yeah. Oh, he does? Sweet. By the way, I already kind of knew that because we kind of talked about it. I'm just asking again. Sweet. When's your guys' like anniversary?
Coming up next month.
That's exciting. Yeah. Have you figured out what you're going to get them yet?
Not yet.
So the great thing about gifts is it's really fun to get people gifts. The hard part is kind of knowing what to get them, right? I mean, what's the point of a gift? You want to get someone a gift that they're going to use every single day, that they're going to remember you, and you want it to last. And that's the great thing about Cutco. And he hunts. Mm-hmm. Cool. So do you mind if I show you some of the hunting knives?
For sure.
Sweet. So I showed the hunting knives, right? What does he hunt for? XYZ. We have that conversation. So just so you know, Ella, since you're already getting this set, since you're already getting the entertainer pack with the gadgets, if you add on that hunting knife, I could actually throw in for you one of our pocket knives for free. That's something you'd like to do today?
Sounds great.
Awesome. Let's do it. And my mind is, I'm constantly thinking, all right, what else am I going to show? What else am I going to show? What else am I going to show? Cool. That's awesome. Hey, just out of curiosity, what's your guys' flatware situation like at home? Like, do you guys have like a nice set of flatware like you use every day? Or do you guys have like a hodgepodge full of like forks and spoons and stuff?
Definitely hodgepodge.
Definitely hodgepodge. Cool. Do you mind if I show you the Cutco flatware?
Sure.
Sweet. So I give my 30-second Cutco pitch on the flatware. Okay. I sell it, right? It's a super simple script. I'm not going to go into all the different scripts of all the different things. That's something you should learn. So, hey, just so you know, since you're already doing this, if you bundled the flatware, just, it's retailed at $2,800, but right now the company has it on sale. Plus, since you're already doing this, I can actually bundle packages, because now you're not just doing like gadgets and stuff. This would be like another package. If you bundle the packages, not only do you get the corporate discount, but I can actually double dip the discounts for you and get you an extra deal on both your sets. Do you want to see what that looks like?
Yeah, sounds like a great deal.
Sweet. Guess what? She keeps saying yes. Why would I stop? Here, okay, so now I show you a crazy deal. Just because you're doing it already, this is your price. This is what you would do if you want to do it later. But since you're double bundling it, you're going to save $500 extra today by doing it all. How does that sound? Say no.
No,
hey, no worries. I just finished up writing the order. That's okay. Guess what? What's going to happen when I go and see her next year to sharpen her knives? Or when I follow up with her to see, hey, how's your knife set? How's your husband liking that K-bar or that hunting knife? Has he used it yet? In 6 months, what's going to happen when I follow up with her? She may or may not buy the flatware. She's definitely going to buy it when I go out to sharpen the knives next year. Does that make sense? So you're always planting seeds. That's why the value of a customer is $15,000. Guys, I've had customers for 6, 7, 8, 9 years. I'm going on 9 years with Cutco. And my first customer, my first summer, he bought a 5-piece starter set. The next year, they upgraded to like a basic homemaker with like no block and like no forks. They just added more knives. And then the next year they added on a can opener. And then last week I saw him. They upgraded to an ultimate set with steak knives, and it ended up being like a 2000 CPO order, or 1400, excuse me. It was $2,000, 1400 CPO. Right. And guess what? The next time that I see that customer, they're going to add flatware or they're going to add cookware. So I don't really like, it's not up to me how much Cutco they buy. I see everything as a gift. Even if they buy that trimmer, I see it as a gift because I know that they're going to want to buy more. But in this process, what the upserving process does is designed to help you get them to buy more now, help them buy more now. Okay. So again, rule number 1 was always ask. Rule number 2, rule number 3, always ask. Yeah. Always offer until they're done. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to go over now, give me 1 second. My notes are on a document and it just kind of moved around. Let's see. So you're going to have some homework with this. That's the process with that. Okay. Those are the 3 rules to upserving. This really works if you have product conviction, ladies and gentlemen. This really only works if you have product conviction. If you don't have product conviction, you're going to have a hard time selling and upserving extra things, right? Has anyone like asked a customer, like, do you guys have an ice cream scoop? Or do you guys eat ice cream? And they respond with, oh, no, we're good. We have ice cream scoops. And they don't even like let you show it to them. Has that happened to anybody? Right? Like that used to happen to me all the freaking time. I would hate it. I'd be like, oh, do you guys have flour? And they're like, yeah, we're going to flour. You guys have cookware? Yeah, we got cookware. It's very frustrating. Like, cause I couldn't even show it. And then it hit me. I'm like, wait, they don't have Cutco flatware. They don't have Cutco cookware. Why am I like, we sell the best stuff. I gotta at least show it to them. And so what I learned is from that moment, just, oh, Miss Jones, well, you guys don't have Cutco flatware. Can I show it to you? You don't have to buy it, but can I show it to you? Because guess what? Once you show it to them, guess what might happen? They might buy it. You show them the gadgets. Like that's my favorite part is gadgets. You guys have, do you peel vegetables, Mr. Jones? Oh, we got like 5 peelers. Oh, you do? Are they Cutco? That's why you have 5 of them. Straight up. I tell them that. And I laugh about it. Yeah. And guess what? They feel that pain because ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand the pains of a customer. You have to understand the pains. If you want to solve their issues with gadgets, with peelers, with ice cream scoops, with pizza cutters, you got to figure out what their pain is because they're going to tell you they have that stuff already. Well, it's not Cutco, so it's probably like Crapco, like straight up. Like that's why they got 5 peelers that don't work. Does that make sense? So understand that, like, no matter what they say, always ask for permission to show it to them anyway. You don't have to buy it, Ms. Jones. Can I just show it to you? Can I show you why everyone loves the vegetable peeler, like the Cutco vegetable peeler? Can I show you why it's going to last 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years? Because guess what? This stuff lasts. In my sample kit, I have a 55-year-old Cutco knife that I show. It's just as sharp as a brand new petite carver. Does that make sense? So the next thing is, again, you got to follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, you don't reap the rewards. You got to have product conviction. So here's a resource. Go to vectorconnect.com. So your Vector Connect and look for just the facts. There's a document that Cutco has on there. It is just the facts. It is a handbook on every fact that Cutco has on all of their products. Right. And you don't need to like recite all these facts about the vegetable peeler. Mr. Jones, JB, do you peel vegetables? Do you? Oh my gosh. Can I tell you why I love the vegetable peeler? This thing's freaking awesome. It's like, so first off, it peels back and forth in both directions. It's right-handed, left-handed. It's dishwasher safe. It's got a little divot picker so you can take the eyes out of potatoes. It's dishwasher safe, forever guaranteed. And the cool part is in 5, 6, 7, 8 years, when it starts to dull out, we'll just send you a brand new blade. And that way it'll last you for the rest of your life. It'll literally be the last peeler. Can you imagine never having to buy vegetable peelers again and having them work just like a Cutco knife every single time? Sweet. Do you want to go ahead and add that to your order today? Let's do it. Right. And guess what? Once you keep asking, it's going to feel really uncomfortable the first time you do this stuff. Okay. It's going to feel really uncomfortable the first time you're doing this. You're going to think to yourself, man, am I being pushy? Your customer's not going to think that. Why? Because it's your job. One of two things will happen. Okay. After they buy their first, second, third, or fourth upserve, the customer is going to respond because you're saying the same thing over and over again, right? So when I upserved the entertainer pack, it was the same exact thing that I said, but with the flatware, right? Same exact phrasing. Your customers are going to say, hey, I know what you're doing. And they're going to respond one of two ways. You're good. And you're going to be like, yeah, I'm just doing my job. Or they're going to say, hey, I know what you're doing. You're selling me more stuff. All right, I'll take it, but that's it. No more. Right. And literally, I've been at the booth with customers and we're having a good time. And I'm like, hey, well, just so you guys know, if you got this, the more you get, the more you save. If you guys add on that entertainer pack, or if you add on that cleaver, I will buy you that boning knife or that, whatever it is, And they're like, all right, but no more. They will always tell you when they're done. It's not up to you to decide how much money they're going to spend. It's up to them. Does that make sense? Your job is to help a customer get in the pool. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Who's the type of person that jumps in the pool? Like, doesn't care how cold, you're just like, yeah, let's go. That's not me at all. I'm like, I get out there, I take my shirt off. I'm like, man, the sun feels really warm. That water looks probably cold. Test it. Nope. Stick my feet in. It takes me a while to get in the pool. But guess what? What happens once you get in the pool? Now you're swimming. When your customer, there's something that happens. So when you sell that set, and it doesn't matter if you sell a homemaker, it doesn't matter if you sell a trimmer, always do this on every single customer, the upserving process. Because what happens is when a customer makes a decision to buy, regardless of whatever it is, something happens in their head. They go from, I'm thinking about Cutco to, I just bought Cutco. All of this on, so now we're going into timing here. You only start the upserving process after you get a credit card or a credit card number, after they've given you payment information. Why is that? Because they've are in their head, when they give you the payment information in their head, they just decided, I am purchasing Cutco. That's the decision that has made. It's a totally different paradigm in their head. You're not trying to sell them anymore. They just bought it. Now it's time to go swimming. Now it's time to go shopping. See, understand this, ladies and gentlemen. Once your customer gives you that credit card number, now it's time to start selling. Everything else was just presentation. Everything else was just the demo. Once you get that credit card, now you start to sell. That's when your job begins. Once I realized this is how I sold a pocket knife last week. 25 minutes later, they're walking away with an ultimate set with steak knives. I've heard stories of Brandon doing that. And I used to think, like, how does someone do that? How does someone come up to buy a pocket knife and you take them to an ultimate, like, that's $100, $4,000. What? How does that happen? It's this process. This is exactly what I did. It's the same process. So the timing, you only start, right? So once you say, Ms. Jones, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask. Did you want to go and get that Galley +6 today? Awesome, Ms. Jones. Welcome to my Cutco family. And we're going to do dark handles, right? Okay, awesome. We're going to do the dark block. Okay, cool. And then, hey, how did you want to pay for this? Did you want to do a debit card or a credit card? Okay, cool. I'm ready for that whenever you are. Awesome. So I write down the credit card number and I'm like, hey, wait, oh my gosh, Ms. Jones, I almost forgot. And then you start the upserving process. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with this last piece, 2 more pieces, and then I'm done. So you want to write these down. Okay. BTW, JSYK. Anyone know what those stand for? There you go. You probably heard me say that a few times up here. I say that a lot at the booth. I'm like a broken record. And it's so funny because guess what? Nobody cares. They know you're a salesperson. They know that's your job. And I don't start saying that until I get the credit card. Does that make sense? And so just so you know, by the way, Mr. Jones, just so you know, the more you get, the better deal I can give you. Write this next one down. SYAGT. SYAGT. Since you are already getting this IYOT. Sorry. IYDT. That's the next one. IYDT. So it's SYAGT, IYDT, ICDT. So it's SYAGT, IYDT, ICDT. Since you're already getting this, if you do this, I can do this. That's what that stands for. You're going to say that every single upserve you do. This is what makes the upserve work. This is what makes the upserve work. People aren't just going to buy the upserve because you show it to them. You got to phrase it correctly, right? You can't like walk up to a girl and be like, hey, I want to date you. Let's go. You can't. No, that doesn't work. Like, Ms. Jones, buy this. Like, she's not going to just do that. There's a phrasing matters, right? There's a way. And this is the process. Just, you know, if you do this, I can do this. Okay. At that point, one of two things will happen. They'll take it or they won't. And if they do, if they take the offer, what do we do next? Ask again, offer another offer, right? And so that's why, like, from this process, ladies and gentlemen, you want to increase your product conviction on all the gadgets, the gardening tools, right? Like, who's ever asked someone if they garden and their response was, I already have gardening tools. I used to deal with that all the time until I read the facts of the Cutco gardening tools. And I'm like, holy smokes. And you got to understand the problems. Most gardening tools suck. They break, they get lost, they rust. Guess what? None of that happens with Cutco. It's nickel, silver, and plated, so it's not going to rust. They're guaranteed forever. They're not green or brown. They're yellow and purple like the Lakers. They're not going to get lost or anything like that. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? So remember, go to Just the Facts, increase your product knowledge, increase your product conviction, follow this process, and this stuff's just going to work. And what you're going to notice is your averages are going to start going higher. Like last year, I averaged at the booth every single time I stepped behind the booth, $2,400 a day. That's what I sold on average. Some days it was like $100, some days it was like $5,000, but it averaged $2,500, $2,400 at the booth. I'm averaging now over $3,000 each single time I step at the booth. I gave myself a pay raise. That's what I did. Last thing I have you write this down. I give myself permission for a pay raise this year. I give myself permission to get a pay raise this year. And if you do the work, you will earn that pay raise, ladies and gentlemen. And that is all I got for you.